We're getting deeper into science. We're getting deeper into understanding. Science, to me, now is becoming a new religion. Because we're starting to see that they're both saying the same thing. To me, the greatest song that was ever written was by John Lennon. And it was in a, and I'm not a big Beatle fan. Well, I think it was done in a diner on a napkin called Imagine. You know the song, right? Imagine all the people. And it just talked about a world where there was just substance and not material. Impossible. But it isn't impossible with an individual. And I don't think it's impossible as an individual who decides to teach that way. I like material. I like fast cars. I like nice home. You know, I like nice clothes. I like women. All of these things go into the play of the material. But I also try to balance it with the substance of who I am. I try never to excel. It has to be ready to be in that position, to be a part of it, to really be able to participate in it and still have substance. And that is something I think that keeps me wrestling and what keeps my art moving, me as a person. But I always try and teach from substance, and I think I do that. Though you need the material as a model to express it. But if you get absorbed and sucked into the material as a teacher, what you do in your school, yeah, I'd love to have a school that would really represent what it is that I'm trying to teach. Maybe one day I'll have that. But it has to grow through the substance of my teaching. You know? You guys understand what I'm talking about? You have any comments on it? Or anything you want to add?
Talk about the boundary of the body, where you like you could see yourself as all your possessions, or you see yourself as your body in the world with all these possessions. You know, owning your body, owning your possessions, or just owning your substance. Do you talk about that?
Your possessions. This is funny. I like, say, collecting knives. Used to. One of the things I always enjoyed about that artwork, whatever it may be, is that when you talk to the person that has actually created the knife or has painted the artwork, and we move so much, or has written a piece of poetry, or some philosophy, you have that, it may be in a material form in front of you, whether it's in a book or a creation on a painting or in a knife that person's made, or a website that has been developed by you. That is based on, that has your substance in it, that has your personality in it. So those things are important. You know, if I was able to have a different ambiance in my home or wherever it was based on the material, well, also it would have to be based on my substance. So I would always look more to kind of represent, you know, who I am by what I have in my home, or by the people I choose to really call my friends. Though I choose and I will speak with everybody, but, you know, to bring people into your heart in that way. So, yeah, I think how you surround your home, what you have in your home, even what you drive represents some of that substance, but it's also in the material. It's how you would choose, how you have a desire to have people see you. But not in decadence, you know, where you have gold faucets and you have, you know, just this a labyrinth of just junk. Unless that junk is truly what represents who you are, which then is just purely material, you know.
That's a slippery slope, but it's a line you define.
Right, exactly. And that's where substance comes in. It's up to you. So when I walk into a person's home that has gold faucets and stuff, you know, there's nothing wrong with that if that person has a balance with those things, you know, like is in an understanding of where they are and what they represent. But you usually find that that can also get on the borderline of being very material and just living for the material, and then you have something to lose. If you're truly as a warrior understands that the only thing you need as a warrior is, and we talked about this in the philosophy classes before, is food, clothing, shelter, and health. And if through that you could keep traveling and moving. So really, whatever you gain material, whether it's gold faucets, that's fine. A wonderful martial arts school, that's fine. It's where you are in the process of that. Because that process always has to come back to the simplicity of who you really are and what you need. If the world falls into a disaster, and you have Donald Trump and who's that other guy? Gates? Bill Gates, standing there, who's got billions of dollars, but now the world has collapsed. And then you've got this guy who's lived on the streets, who's a bum, had no money, but knows how to live on the streets. Who are you going to muscle up to? Who all of a sudden becomes the most important individual there? Not the billionaires, because they can't save your life. There's one guy that you stepped over on the street that knows how to keep warm, that knows where the places are, that knows how to search for food and get water. And these guys all of a sudden, who maybe have lost everything, have to follow the new God. Kind of cool. Because the gods switch roles. In ourselves, we must, no matter what we surround ourselves in, or what represents us materially, should always come back to the simplicity of who and what you are. That the material may have an example, James, to where you are and what you have, but they all have to be based, or that's only for others to see, or how you see yourself in a material realm. But in a substance realm, it's a whole different ballgame. That has to always come back to simplicity, to who you are, because the material only lasts while you're healthy enough to have it last. Once you are not healthy anymore, and the material, everything starts to dissolve, including the material and substance, or not the structure of your body, the substance, which is internal, is really what's going to remain. But the material of the body degrades. And I don't know about the mysteries of life after death, but I do know there is a difference between dealing with the material of the body and the substance of the body, the heart and the mind of the body. And how you choose to represent that, it's a little bit confusing, but it's very important to what you do in your life. Good? That's good? We can stop? Okay, bye-bye.